morning, everyone. My name is Milos Kresojevic, Global Innovation Architect with the Freshfields Bookhouse Derringer. For those who doesn't know what Freshfields do, and we are one of the largest and one of the oldest law firms in the world, established 1743 by Bank of England, and one of the still our client. We like to think about, our lawyers like to think of ourselves as the high-end top lawyering, which engaging transactions in matters which nobody else can do in the world besides us and a couple of other firms. So one might ask, what actual innovation has to do with law firms, especially AI, especially for high-end lawyering? And that actually has been the question for us on our journey. We started 3 years ago. And then you might ask, why Warren Buffett? I guess all of us pretty much know who the Warren Buffett is. He's one of the richest men with the unprecedented, actually, returns on investment over his lifetime. And I think actually there is a lot to learn based on his discipline on investing and some of the key takeaways from him. Because I'm going to be a little bit contrarian today. I'm saying AI is great. We heard a lot of brilliant presentations, in depth. But so what? What does it mean for our firm? What does it mean for my firm, for Freshfields? And I'm going to take you through practical journey we went through and share that with you today. Our portfolio, which is kind of those 6 boxes, is giving you the flavor of our RTI portfolio. That's changing, and that's what we are looking at. Some are actually AI, some are not, some are actually more on blockchain, but it doesn't matter. The way we look about innovation in general is any technology that can disrupt the business and in a major way, and can disrupt the way we provide client services. That means actually excluding next generation of the CRM, next generation of all other systems. That's beyond our realm. The second point I would like to make, it is also about our clients first, and actually creating the value for the firm and our people. So now it's coming to the point of, well, there's all different tools. Let's say, for example, the first one, the contract analysis. We started with them engaging 3 years ago. They were really, really early stages. And then we said, well, if we get them or we develop it, everybody can get them as well. So back to the value creation and positioning within the firm, we say, well, then our competitors can get it. There is no advantage to it. Why should we invest the money? We can just buy it off and finish it off. But then we decided actually it's important how we ask the question. The question is not, is it AI cool, is it creating the value potentially, but how we actually can use artificial intelligence to help to extend the advantages and where our value, where actually better advantages. And that's what Warren Buffett called a moth. I'm going to quote him on that. A moth is a deep, wide pitch surrounding a castle, intended as a defense against attack. And that's it. That was it for us. Is actually where we position AI for our firm that can extend the expertise and the skill set which no one can match in a competitive space. So it's not just kind of another tool, another nice thing to do, although I like that as well. So to extend that kind of capacity is actually set back to contract analysis. Well, there is a tool which actually allows our lawyers to actually train the model themselves. It's not the data scientist, it's not the AI specialist. They can train, so it's actually based on our advantage, which is our skill set, to train themselves, and we maintain the IP. What does it mean? That our moth, our ditch, where actually we kind of defend our firm from, is actually our expertise. We, as Warren Buffett says, we want year on to actually not only maintain, but increase that moth, that actually ditch, to actually create the value for the firm. Nobody can attack. If we move forward, actually, I would call that then, instead of the Turing test, I would call it a Warren Buffett test. I guess the key question, maybe it's on a bigger scale, but would Warren Buffett himself invest in your IT portfolio? Because at the end of the day, it's not about technology, it's not about AI, it's not about being smart or less smart for that matter, but would he actually invest? And two principles, I guess, I'm going to you a very brief overview of his approach to investing. It's called value investing. I guess before I delve into it, is you have to decide, do you want actually AI to be a strategic play for the firm, or just technology play, or just innovation play, or maybe something else? Why I'm saying that? Because value investing is increasing the value of your firm overall. You might not go with that. You might go with the momentum investing, which is one of many other ways to invest, if you want to think about those terms. That means the prices go up, everybody's investing, and that means following the trend. That might be the way you want to do it. For us, who's in value investing, two major principles for Warren Buffett, I'm a bit oversimplifying, is intrinsic value of any investment he makes, or company he invests in, and margin of safety. If we put that back on the IT portfolio and thinking not on a company, but actually on each application you're investing in, one of the big things I'm going to start with the diversified portfolio. Do you have a diversified portfolio application? That's what Warren Buffett's saying. It's not about single stock investing. It's not about single application he or he's investing. It's actually a portfolio that actually you want to be successful, to have the unparalleled return on it. Some application might fail, might not give you the value, but some will. And actually, that's what you want to focus on. And that's actually what we are focusing. That's the previous portfolio. For example, what does it mean in AI space for us? It's actually, for some, we have enough for the training data set to actually train the model. For some, we don't. And it's not going to be always the machine learning. In some cases, it's going to be symbolic AI. It might be something, what I call, we might not need the divine solution for earthly problems. And that's actually where the portfolio makes sense for us. The second point is, can you build and buy discount? Warren Buffett buys a discount. He doesn't go with the crazy market, actually ups and downs. He doesn't care about that. Why? Because he knows the intrinsic value of his investment. Do we know intrinsic value of all our portfolio, of all our AI systems? So what does it mean for us? Putting it back home for us was, well, we started with engaging with the vendors, doing ourselves some 3 years ago. We think we should have that much better and get that in discount. If we got in some firms, which literally have 4 people, we're actually very cheap to engage, to try. They might not work, but doesn't really matter. That's where the diversity portfolio comes into the place. We might engage with 3, 4. And that means we would actually creating the margin of safety. So diversity portfolio and actually buying them cheap. In our experience, if we had, we would actually get with those vendors, if that's the area you want to do, to actually get very early on. You gave them a cheap. Some are failed, some succeed. Another test, actually, the margin of safety. This means, well, it might be hype, might not be hype. Big things coming. We don't know the timing, right? One of the tests for margin of safety back, does your portfolio is going to survive the business downturn? We know, actually, when a downturn happens, the innovation is first to go. They would say, cutting costs, where is the value? So that's actually some of the questions we start to answer, and actually getting them on intrinsic value. How do you know it's going to survive? Because if we know the intrinsic value in Warren Buffett's world, then we might be able actually to know and survive whatever, the business downturn or the AI winter. And then it's going to move to, let's move to intrinsic value. How have we done that? We try to be scientific as possible for each application so that we know what it is. What does it mean in our world? That actually, back to the contract analysis thing, we actually look for very good sample of historical data set, or actually matters we performed by our lawyers, where they have benchmark, and actually try to actually evaluate to get potential savings or even revenue on the other side to actually make sure that we know what the value of each of our application is. That shows us, for example, on the contract analysis side, savings between 40 and 80%. And it has been performed by our lawyers, benchmarked against real matters. The last but not the least, I guess, is the scope. So, for example, our lawyers would say, well, it's a brilliant application. It's really cool. I love it. So what? Does it increase what I do? Does it increase the value of the firm? And I think that's what I want you to take, is how does it increase the value of the firm? That's how Warren Buffett would actually look and think. Does it increase the overall value of the firm? Which brings me to the next slide, is for us, it's much, much wider. It touches almost everything. what I kept saying, disruptive technology is not about technology which is disrupting. You are disrupting your own business. You're disrupting the product set, you're disrupting the pricing models, the technology business processes, interesting one, the talents, knowledge management, potentially even the new service lines. Interesting research came a couple of months ago from MIT. Is saying they did actual innovation, saying, well, how is the best structured innovation? The insight is maybe intuitive, but it's good to have actually confirmation on that. It's saying that the further you go from your original business model, the more likely and to be more successful, you probably want to have the organization on your own right. You want to have a separate entity which would drive the value for you and your innovation effort. All those questions which you see around is not AI questions. Those are business questions. Those are Warren Buffett's questions, value investing. Can your company sell more products and services? Can your AI solutions or portfolio better increase the sale? Can increase the profit on existing actually services? The pricing is also big. How do you price your client for it? He knows you use AI solution. Is it actually going to company be profitable as it was before? Can you raise prices by using AI things? Those are not easy questions, but I think gives the right context. If you raise the right question, you might actually have very likely actually chance to get the right answer right away. Fast forward back to the talent. It's actually, this one is not directly linked to the investment strategy, but I'm going to diverge to the partner of Warren Buffett, called Charles Munger. He used to say, how do you hire somebody for very, very specific investment management decisions? It's like, I'm not looking for only specialty in investment management. What I look is people with as diverse as possible skill set and experiences. They're asking why. He said, well, it's simple in my world. Each profession has its own mental models, how they do approach solving the problems. And in that case, that means that all the people with a diverse actually skill set have much more of a mental models to attack the very complex problem of investment management. And last, just to kind of summarize very quickly on it, this is like kind of high-level principles. What we think it is what Warren Buffett calls snowball effect. It's time in the market that counts for you. It's actually getting early and being as long as possible in AI space. Playing with it, learning of it, that's what matters. Don't try to time it. He doesn't try, we shouldn't be either. Diversified portfolio, we talked about that. Also, the academic research says diversity cross-functional teams. It doesn't sound only nice, but actually academic research supports rightly diversified teams are much more effective than non-diversified. And for that matter, the overall diversified. Building house expertise, don't understand. Warren Buffett only invests what he understands in. And that's what we should do as well. Understand the business, understand technology, and having in-house knowledge. And last, buy, build, and hold. It is not actually you're going to fluctuate with the market with hypes and lows, but actually buy and build for longer term. On that matter, I would like to quote Warren Buffett says 2 days ago in his annual shareholder meeting in Omaha, Nebraska. Is not only about creating the value for the firm, but also for the people. Don't make people, we are actually excited by AI, don't make people the roadkill of AI. And for that matter, that's actually where our senior partner at RAM introduced the business, responsible business. It's about creating value for the firm, for the people, and for wider society. On that, I would like to thank you all, and we're happy to take any questions.
I think we have time for some questions. Anybody has?